Hey everyone, this is Unit 3 Lesson 3.7, Problem Solving and Multiply Two-Digit Numbers. Our essential question is, how can you use the strategy draw a diagram to solve a multi-step multiplication problem? Okay, so in these problems, there's probably going to be at least 2 or 3 steps, so you just have to really take a look at the words. And that's the part that I'm going to really focus on, is taking a look at trying to circle the information that we truly need and trying to figure out what words tell us what to do, okay? So unlike the problem, during the 2010 Great Backyard Bird Count, an average of 42 bald eagles were counted in the 20 locations throughout Alaska. In 2009, an average of 32 bald eagles were counted in each of the 26 locations throughout Alaska. Based on this data, how many more bald eagles were counted in 2010 than 2009? Use the graphic organizer to help you solve the problem. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to circle the information that I think that looks important. So there's 42 bald eagles, so I'm going to circle that one. And each of the 20 locations, so I'm going to circle that. Okay, and that was all in 2010, so I'm going to put the other color, 2009, in purple. So I have 32 bald eagles and 26 locations. Okay, now here's the tricky part, is what they're asking you to do. They want you, based on this data, how many more bald eagles were counted in 2010 than 2009. I know how many more makes you want to add because you think of the word more, which means add, but that's not the case here. How many more bald eagles than 2010 through 2009? That means they want you to figure out how much bigger one number is from the other. So you have to subtract to figure out the difference between the two. So if I were just to say I have 3 pennies in one hand and 2 pennies in the other, how many more pennies do I have in my first hand? Okay, well you guys would say, well there's 1 more penny. So what you had to do to find that is you subtracted 3 minus 2. So that's kind of what we're doing, only we're working on bigger numbers. So what do I need to find? I need to find how many more bald eagles were counted in 2010 and 2009. What information do I need to use? So in 2010, there was 20 locations and an average of 42 bald eagles. Then in 2009, there was 26 locations and there was 32 bald eagles. Okay. So how will I solve the information? I can solve simpler problems. So find the numbers counted in 2010, which we did that. We got that all circled. Find the number of bald eagles counted in 2009. Okay, so remember we're trying to find the difference between the two. Then I can draw a bar model to compare the 2010 from the 2009 count. Okay. So first, we need to find the total number of bald eagles counted in 2010. So if we come up here, in 2010 is the pink. So I have 42 bald eagles, and I'm going to take that times 20 locations. Okay, so taking 42 times 20, that's going to be 840 bald eagles counted in 2010. Do you see how you have to do 2 steps here? First you got to figure out how many you had in 2010, and then you have to figure out how many you had in 2009. So now I'm going to go to my purple one, and I had 32 bald eagles times the 26 locations. And then, so 32 times 26 is 832. Okay, So now, last is to draw your bar model, and you need to figure out this little space right in between here. So you have to subtract how much bigger is 840 than 832. So the difference between those two numbers would be 8. So there were 8 more bald eagles counted in 2010 in the pink than from 2009 in the purple. Okay, so when you see how many more, that means you're going to subtract. You're trying to figure out how many more 2010 was from 2009 or whatever it's saying to do. Okay, so make sure you look at, I would first circle all the information you need and then figure out what they're asking you and go from there. Okay? Alright, so we're going to try another problem. Prescott Valley, Arizona reported a total of 29 mourning doves in the Great Backyard Bird Count. Mesa, Arizona reported 20 times as many mourning doves as the Prescott Valley. If Chandler reported a total of 760 mourning doves, how many more mourning doves were reported in Chandler than in Mesa? Okay, so first of all, I'm going to go back here and I'm going to circle the information that I think is important. So a total of 29 mourning doves from Prescott, and then Mesa reported 20 times as many. So I'm going to write 20 times as many than Prescott, which was in the orange. So if Chandler reported they had a total of 760 mourning doves, okay, and then I'm going to ask myself, how many more mourning doves is there from Chandler than Mesa? Okay, so I'm going to come down here and I'm going to type, what do I need to find first? So first I need to find how many more, I'm just going to call them doves for now, doves were reported in Chandler, AZ, then Mesa, AZ, which I've been to Mesa, Arizona before. Okay, so now what information do I need to use? Okay, so you need to use that there's 29, I'm going to put MD for mourning doves for short, that there's 29 mourning doves in Prescott. Okay, and then there's also 20 times as many doves, so I'll put mourning doves as Prescott. Okay, and then in the end, Chandler reported 760 mourning doves. Okay. Alright, so I got that. How will I use the information? You're going to solve a simpler problem first. So you're going to find, I'm going to put, number of mourning doves reported in Mesa. Okay, and then you can use a bar graph to help you, but you don't have to. But then once you find that, you're going to compare numbers in Mesa with Chandler. Okay? Alright, so we're going to come over here and we're going to start working out and solving the problem. Okay, so the first thing that we want to do is we want to find the number of mourning doves in Mesa. Okay, so in Prescott there's 29 mourning doves, but Mesa had 20 times more than that 29. So I'm going to take 29 times times 20. Then here's a hint here. So whenever you see that word times in there, you're taking 20 times something. Okay, so 29 times 20, which is going to equal 580 mourning doves. Okay, and that's in Mesa, just so we kind of know that. Okay, then the next step is you already know that there are 760 mourning doves in Chandler. So that's why they have this. There's 760 mourning doves in Chandler, and we just found out 580 mourning doves in Mesa. Well, they want to find how many more. Erase that. There we go. Okay, how many more? Okay, so how many more from this number to this number? So we're at 580 and we're trying to get to 760. So what can you do to those new numbers to figure out to get from 580 to 760? Well, you're going to subtract the two numbers to find the difference. So you're going to take 760 minus 580. Okay, and you're going to get 180. So there are 180 more mourning doves reported in Chandler. Okay. Alright, so let's take a look at this bottom part. Is your answer reasonable? Yes. Because let's say if you rounded 760 to 800 and 580 to 600, and then you subtract, the difference would be 200. So 180 is closer to 200, so my answer is reasonable. So just to kind of sum up what I just said there, yes, if I estimated 760 and 580, I would get around 200. And then you can just put 200 is close to 180. Okay. Alright, we're going to go to the next page here. I'm going to do number 1 with you and possibly number 2, and then I think we're going to go maybe take a look at your homework here. So, number 1, an average of 74 reports with bird counts. Man, this chapter likes birds. With bird counts were turned in each day in June. An average of 89 were turned in each day in July. How many reports were turned in for both months? Hint, there are 30 days in June and 31 days in July. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to circle the information that I think is like the most important facts that I might need. So I'm going to circle that there had been 74 reports that were turned in each day in June. Okay, an average was 89. Well, they turned in for July. But they're asking us how, I want to change the color, there we go. How many reports were turned in for both months? And then I'm going to switch back to yellow because I also think I need to know that there's 30 days in June and 31 days in July. So they first want us to focus a problem for June. Okay, so they said that June is 30 days. Okay, and then that there was 74 reports. So I'm going to take 30 days times 74. Okay, then the next step is I'm going to go down here that there's 31 days in July, and I'm going to take that times, what else do we got here? An average of 89 was turned in for July, so take 31 times 89. Okay, so then what are we going to do to find the two products? So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to write what 30 times 74 is. Okay, so that's, I'm just doing that to be quicker. 2,220, and then for July, 31 times 89. Okay, that's 2,759. Okay, Then they're asking how many reports were turned in for both months. So if they want to figure out how much both months together are, then you're going to add those two up. You want to find the total, which would be 4,979 reports. Okay. Alright, let's take a look at number 2. What if an average of 98 reports were turned in for each day for the month of June? How many reports were turned in for June? Describe how your answer for June would be a little different. Okay, so I'm going to come back here, and again I'm going to circle any information that I think that is valuable, that there's 98 reports in for June, and just remembering that there was, let's see, 30 days in June, just to keep that off the top of my head. I'm going to switch to another color. They're asking us how many reports were turned in for June. Okay, so first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here, and I'm going to find the difference from this average 70 reports from 98 reports. So I'm going to take 98 minus 74, because this one and there is 98 reports in June, and up here was 74. So I'm going to find the difference first, because they're asking us how many reports were turned in for June if this number was bumped up. Okay, so that answer would be 24. Okay, so now I'm going to take 24 times 30, because there's 30 days in June. Okay, and then so 24 times 3, take that times 10, would be 72, and then, oops, forgot my equal sign, be 720. Okay, so there would be 720 more reports. Okay. Alright, so we're going to go to the next page here. We're not going to do any more of those. We're going to come to your homework. What I want you to do, I'm not going to make you draw a bar model, but I do want you to do number 2 and number 3. Okay. Please let me know if you need help on that. I'll kind of get you started a little bit. The 24 students in Miss Lee's class each collected an average of 18 cans for recycling. The 21 students in Miss Galvez's class each collected an average of 25 cans for recycling. How many more cans were collected by Mrs. Galvez's class than Miss Lee's class? So I'm going to go and take my pen, and I'm going to circle information that I think is important. So there's 24 students in Mrs. Lee's class, and they collected an average of 18 cans. Okay, and then we're going to go to the other teacher, and her 21 students all collected 25 cans. Okay, then they're going to ask you, here's the second part of the equation, how many more cans were collected? Okay, from Mr. Galvez's class, then Miss Lee's class. Okay, so use the information that you circled. How are you going to find a total for Miss Lee's class and a total for Mr. Galvez's class? And then what are you going to do with those two numbers in the end? Okay. Alright, then on this page, I want you to do, I'll let you pick 3. Okay, I'll just write pick 3. Okay, alright, so that's what I got for 3.7. If you have any questions, let me know. Thanks, have a good rest of your day.